You guys, we need this for a new intro. What's up, budget babes? It's Julia Creations and I'm back with another video. And today, guys, we're going to be using the digital planner. I like low-key been wanting to use a digital planner more. I've been just in a space where I've always used my laminated, but we're doing this budget for a digital budget, babe, and you know, we just need to switch some things up sometimes, you know, just have some fun with it, you know, switch things up. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you're new here, my name is Julia Creations. I teach people how to budget, get their finances on track, possibly pay off debt, whatever their financial goals are. So welcome here. I'm gonna give you guys 3 seconds to hit that like button. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, okay, make sure you guys like the video. All right, so we're gonna jump straight into it, you guys. Her husband did get a raise, which I'm super excited about. Is gonna give us just a little bit more wiggle room. So the first thing we're gonna do is just fill out the calendar. We're doing the full Shazam. We're gonna fill out the calendar, set up a monthly budget, then break it down to a weekly budget, and then we're gonna talk about a possible debt payoff plan for them. So we're gonna go straight into it. Alright, you guys, sorry that the lighting was trash. I was like looking at the camera, I was like, this looks like it's still super dark, so let me try to bring my ring light closer. So sorry about that, you guys. So I went ahead and filled out our calendar. Our calendar is all set and ready to go. So now we're gonna go ahead and do is set up our monthly budget. We're gonna be doing half of July and a little bit the end of June going into July, so you guys will see us break that down. Our budget goal is to save / pay off debt, and our monthly income for the week is going to be, or the month is going to be, a weekly pay, which is going to be, we're just going to put the amount here, is going to be $1,200 per week, and we're going to do 1,200 times 4. 1,200 times 4 is going to be 4,800 for the month as our monthly income. So 4,800. And now we're going to go ahead and write down our fixed expenses. So these are going to be our bills that are usually the same each month. I'm going to go ahead and write these in, and our variables are expenses that vary, and then I'll come right back, you guys. Guys, perfect. So after setting up our budget here, our cash surplus, we're gonna figure out what our cash surplus is. Our expenses total to $34.40 for the whole, and $34.44 for the whole month here, which is pretty good. Her cash surplus increased due to hubby getting a raise, which is super nice. That extra money coming in for sure helps us. So $1,200 times 4 weeks is $4,800. So really nice. We increased about $200 per week from what her previous income was that was coming in. So really nice, really good. We're gonna go ahead and figure out what our cash surplus is. So how we figure out what the cash surplus is, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and take our income minus our total of expenses. So what's coming in, which is going to be $4,800 per month, minus $34.44, which is going out. So $4,800 minus $34.44 is going to total us to having a cash surplus of $13.56, which is really nice. All right, now how do we set this up on a weekly pay period? So let's set that up using our weekly template. All right, you guys, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about the week of. So the week of, how we set this up is to go through and write down basically all of our pay periods for the month. So I'm gonna go through and set this up by putting the last week of June, because we want to definitely make sure we're budgeting that last week of June coming into July. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the week of June 23rd to June 30th. So this way, any bills that come through around this time, we will take care of it because it's going to be coming into the new month. And then we're going to go ahead and do July 1st all the way to July 7th. So we're kind of just going in and doing a Monday to Sunday. We're going to go fill this out and then we'll come right back. Alright, you guys, so now that we went and we wrote our week ofs, we're going to go ahead and basically wrap up our June budget. So we're looking at June 23rd to June 30th. Do we have any bills that would technically go under this pay period? And in June, it looks like we won't have any bills that's coming up around that time, but let's look at our calendar. Let's see here. So we're looking at basically June 23rd to June 30th. So June 23rd basically will be, let me see what day that is in June. So this is a July calendar, but we still want to wrap up June. So June 23rd technically would be a Sunday. So a Sunday in June, what bills we have that will come through? We'll roughly have our car payment that will be coming out. We'll also have our Capital One, and our Netflix will still have to be covered with this check here. So we're going to go ahead and write in our car payment, which is going to be $397, and this is closing out the month of June. So $397 for our car payment. And then do we have any credit cards? We'll have the Capital One, which will come out around this time. Capital One, just going to be $71. And then we'll also have Netflix for $13. Alright, sweet. And then let's see how much we're spending on groceries weekly and gas. So our gas totals to $200 a month, which brings us to $50 weekly here. And then our groceries total to $480 a month. $480 divided by 4 is roughly about $120 a week. So we know for sure we have those. And then kids usually is $25 per week for $100 a month, just for any kids spending. And kids, which is going to be $25. So we're gonna go ahead and add this up and see what this totals to really quickly. All right, you guys, after adding up the full total, we noticed that it totals to $676, just with our fix being $397 and our variables here. So you see the next week rent will be due. We will get paid basically July 5th. So this would be the next upcoming check. So she has a few days to pay off her rent. So she said it's fine if we pay by the 5th, because I was thinking maybe we have to do 2 checks earlier to make sure the rent is paid on the 1st. But she said it's fine that we can pay the rent here, the other half on the 5th. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and put half of our rent with this check. So we're going to go ahead and split rent into 2 payments. We don't get paid again to the 5th. The rent is $1040. So we're going to go ahead and split this here. So we already have a portion. Just so we're not paying the full rent with 1 check, we're going to go ahead and take $1040 and divide it by 2, which is going to give us $520 for that portion of our rent. So we're going to go ahead and take $520 plus $397, which is going to be $917. And then we're going to go ahead and add up our variables. 71 plus 13 plus 50 plus 120 plus 25 is going to total to 279. 279 plus 917 is going to bring our expenses roughly to $1196. So this week is going to be really tight, but we are already taking care of our rent, which is most important. So we weren't using 1 check for rent. $1,200 minus $1196 is basically going to be $4 in our savings, which isn't a lot, of course, but we have our bills taken care of, and that's all that matters. So boom, we went ahead and we took care of that. So that's taken care of. Now we're going to work on the next week, July 1st to the 7th. Hey guys, I just noticed something. I just noticed that the lights are due also on the 1st of the month as well. So what we're gonna have to do is we're going to have to pay the lights with this check as well. So we're at a position where we're a little tight on this last week. We have to cover our lights here as well, you guys. So we need to go in and put only a portion of the rent and the lights. So what we're going to do is we're going to put $150 of this, because this is our light bill. We need to also pay the light bill on the 1st of the month here. We have to use this check that's coming through in June, because we don't get paid again until the 5th. So we're going to have to do our lights, and then we're going to be able to do whatever we have left from rent here. So our rent is $1040 divided by 2, which is going to be $520, and we're going to have to take $150 from that. So we're only going to be able to put $370 to the rent, just so we can make sure that we cover this light bill. So we're going to re-add this up here just to make sure all the numbers are correct. $397 plus $370 plus $150 is going to be $917. Just wanted to make sure I still have my numbers right there. So our expense total is still going to be the same. We're still going to have $4 in our savings, but this next week, since we have an extension to pay the rent till the 5th, we're going to have to finish the rest of the rent. So we've basically put $370 to the balance of $1040. $1040 minus $370 is roughly going to give us $670. We're going to have to pay this week to finish the remainder of the rent, just so we made sure we covered those lights, because we don't want the lights to be an issue. So we're going to go ahead and highlight this here, and this was paid with previous check because we needed to cover those. So now we're at the 5th here. We're going to look at all the bills that come out between the 5th to the 12th of our next payday here. So let's go ahead and take this highlighter. We're just going to go ahead and highlight this really quickly. All right, perfect. And then we're going to put $1,200 for payday here, because these both are $1,200. 100, 1,200, and then 1,200 here. All right, sweet. So now let's see what bills come out through this time frame. We do have car insurance, which is going to be due on the 8th, so we'll for sure have to cover that with this check. So we're going to go ahead and put car insurance, which is going to be $270. So rent, car insurance, and then we're gonna go ahead and cross off the bills that we did pay. So rent, we're gonna still color coordinate this. We're just gonna use this yellow. This was paid off with our checks in June. And then we're gonna go ahead and cover the so car insurance. Oh, sorry guys, the car insurance is due on the 15th. This is why I need to just organize this better. So car insurance is actually due on the 15th. So we're not even worried about the car insurance next. The car insurance is right here. It's supposed to go to this little box on the 15th. Need to make my calendar bigger. All right, sweet guys. So we just need to worry about our Prime and TikTok. So 6 plus 3 is $9, and those are our subscriptions here. So subs will be $9 for this time period. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and put in our variables, and then we're gonna see what bill we can get ahead of that's coming up soon. So gas, which is gonna be $50. I don't know if I want to do dashes or slashes. Groceries for $120. And then kids again for $25. All right, so let's go ahead and see what this totals to. $670 plus $9 plus $50 plus $120 plus $25. So we're roughly at $874, and our income coming in is $1,200. So is there anything we can possibly get ahead of so next week we don't have such a heavy week? We can go ahead and get this phone bill taken care of. So we're gonna go ahead and use this check to cover our phone bill. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight what this check is gonna cover. So everything in green is what this is going to cover. So we're gonna go ahead and get our phone bill out the way with this check. So we're gonna go ahead and put phone, which is $133. So we're gonna take $133 plus $670, which is our other half of our rent, and this is gonna total our fix for this week to $783. Then we're gonna go ahead and add up our variables. $9 plus $50 plus $120 plus 25 is going to be $204. $204 plus $783 is going to total us to $987 for the week. $1,200 minus $987. 1200 minus 987 is going to be $213 in our savings. So now we have a small cushion in between weeks here. Sweet. I'm going to go ahead and highlight this. And then we're going to go ahead and cross off the phone bill because we covered it with this check. Guys, once we get to this next week, we're going to go ahead and look at the next paycheck, which is going to be the paycheck of the 12th. And we're going to go ahead and use this purple. So we're looking at this payday, which is going to be the 12th, basically to the 19th. So we're going to go ahead and highlight this here, the 12th to the 19th. And we want to see what bills we have to cover with this check. The phone bill is already taken care of. So we for sure have this credit card minimum that we need to take care of. So we're going to go ahead and write this in here, which has a $70 minimum. All right, then we also have our Capital One card and our car insurance. So our car insurance $270. All right, and then we have our Capital One for $36. All right, and then our Credit One for $147. All right, and then we also have our medical bill of $50. Just put that on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and do our repeats again, which is gas, which is going to be $50. Then we have groceries for $120. And then we also have kids again for $25. Okay, so since we wrote down all of this, guys, we're gonna go ahead and add this up and see what this totals to. 270 plus 50 plus 70 plus 36 plus 47 plus 50 plus 120 plus 25 is going to total us to $668, and we still have $1,200 in there, so we basically use half. So with this check, we went ahead and we covered our car insurance, our medical. So the last bill we have is our car payment that's going to be coming up, which we get paid again before the car payments due. So why don't we go ahead and split half of this car payment? So that way we won't have to do the car payment all on one check. So we're going to go ahead and put our car payment, half of that. The total for our car payment is $397. $397 divided by 2 is going to be, we're just going to put $199. So we'll do $199 here. And let's add this up. So $199 plus 50 plus 270 is going to be $519 for our fix. Our variables, we're going to be adding up 70 plus $36 plus $47 plus 50 plus 120 for groceries plus 25 for kids is going to be 348. 348 plus 519 is going to total us to 867 here for our total of expenses. So 1,200 minus 867, 1,200 minus 867, we'll be able to put $333 in our savings until next payday. Alright, you guys, so now that we took care of that, we're going to go ahead and look at our next week, which I'm going to go ahead and use blue. We haven't used blue yet. So we're looking at payday of the 19th till basically the 25th. So we've already covered half of the car payment, so we're going to do the other half of the car payment with this check. So we're looking at this week. We're going to go ahead and write the car payment, which is for sure going to be $199. All right, sweet. And then let's see what we also have. We'll have our Best Buy credit card coming out, which is going to total to $150. So Best Buy. $150. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to see what we're going to cover earlier, but we're going to wait a second and see our variables. So we haven't did our self-care yet, so let's go ahead and put some self-care in the budget here. We'll do self-care for $60 since we weren't able to do that these first coming weeks. We'll do self-care for $60, gas again for $50, groceries $120, and then kids $25. Sorry guys, I don't know if I want to do dots or a dash. So $199 plus $150 plus $60 plus $50 plus $120. Oh my gosh, it wasn't adding up. $199 plus $150 plus $60 plus $50 plus $120 plus $25 totals us to about $604 here. So we still have some money left over until we get paid again. So the next check we'll get will technically be the 26th. So that's going to be our check we have to split for rent. So why don't we go ahead and get ahead on our light bill. So we're going to jump all the way to putting the money aside for our light bill for this check. So that way we won't have to do light, rent, and all of that on one check. Luckily the next month we get paid on the 2nd. But let's go ahead and put our lights up here. Let's get ahead and put lights. So that way we're not trying to have to split again when we get to this week again of the next month. So we're going to go ahead and add that in there. You guys, and I told you I'm always try to get us ahead as much as possible. So 199 plus 150 is going to have us put 349 for this week to our fix. Then our Best Buy 150 plus 60 plus 50 plus 120 plus 25 is going to be 405. 405 plus 349 is basically going to total our expenses to $754, and we're going to go ahead and take $1,200 and minus it from $754. $1,200 minus $754. We're going to be able to put $446 in our savings. Woo, woo, woo. So we're already starting to see that cash surplus that we were promised on the monthly budget. We quoted to have about $1,300 saved. So we're slowly starting to see these numbers build to total to this. So just like that, you guys, we've already covered all the fix for the month. So now we're about to start looking at the week here. And I'm just going to go ahead and shade this in just because it's driving me crazy. I'm just gonna shade this time frame to this time frame, and then purple. It's probably, you guys probably don't care, but it's just driving me like, why is the boxes not shaded in? Sorry, y'all. It's just driving me crazy. So you can see what's color coordinated. All right, sweet. So we are now on the last week here of the month, and I'm gonna use pink. We have payday coming in on the 26th. Basically here is the last payday of the month. So we have our Capital One and our Netflix coming out for sure. So let's go ahead and put that in here. So we got Capital One for $71, and then we have Netflix, which was how much? $13. Then we're going to go ahead, and it's just basically variables, and then we'll have to portion off our half of the rent. So we're going to have our gas again, which is going to be repeating for $50. Groceries for $120. All right, and then kids for $25. All right, so 71 plus 13 plus 50 plus 120 plus 25. So we're at 279 here. We already covered the lights, you guys, so we don't have to worry about the lights. So this is going to be 279, and then we are going to go ahead and put that portion of our rent aside, you guys. We do happen to get paid on the 2nd for the next paycheck, which is really nice, but we're going to go ahead and split that rent in half. So let's go ahead and split that. So the rent originally is $1040, splitting in half equally is going to be $520. So basically rent here, $520. So now the next week we'll have rent again, and this time we won't have to pay it to the 5th. Even though she has an extension, the earlier still the better, just so you're more prepared. So our fix would total to $520 for this week. Our variable is $279. $279 plus $520 is going to be $799. Then $1,200 minus $799. $1,200 minus $799 is going to be $401. That is going to go in our savings, and just like that, we are ahead. Let's go ahead and highlight this. Guys, we started this budget a little rocky, but look, that's why it's good that we set up a budget. So according to June, our last month here, it would have been better if we were paying the car payment ahead, how we did in this example, that would definitely give us a better cushion, and then we could possibly pay off that light bill instead of paying the car payment with one check. Just gives us a little bit more of a wiggle room here, so that way we just have those dates more organized, and then we're not stressed for any reason. So let's see how much we saved for this month here. So the ending of June, well, technically we're just going to say July. So 4 plus 213 plus 333 plus 446 plus our last check of 401. We technically save $13.97. So our quote was $13.56 for the oopsie, you guys can't even see, sorry you guys. Our quote was $13.56 for the whole entire month that we were supposed to save. We actually save $13.97 according to our cash surplus. So now let's go ahead and set up our debt payoff list and see what we'll be working with here. I'm gonna go ahead and set up a debt payoff list, you guys, with our credit cards, and then I'll be right back. I'm gonna write this down and then we'll come up with our game plan. Okay guys, now that we went and wrote our debt payoff list, I'm going to zoom in here. Of course, I know you guys are far back. So we have a Capital One, a Best Buy, our medical, the C1, I feel like I'm going to pronounce that word so wrong, so I'm just going to skip it. But that's a credit card, our car loan, our Capital One, our Credit One, and our Capital One. So starting the end of July, according to our budget, we have $13.97 left over. So what we want to start with is our snowball method. So the snowball method is where we're going to pay off our smallest card to our biggest card regardless of interest, just based off these pay periods that we have here. So I would go ahead, and my goal for July would be to pay off the medical. We'll get that one out the way, and then we'll also get all this credit card out the way for this first month. That will be our goal for July. Pay off medical. All right, so both of those totaled together will be $770. So $13.97 minus 770 is going to be $627 in our savings here. And just like that, starting August, we no longer have to pay the minimum on those two cards. So 50 plus 70 plus $13.97. $15.17 would technically be our new cash surplus. The kids will be back starting school, and her daughter pays, or she pays $60 per week for her daughter. So 60 times 4 would be $240. So we're gonna go ahead and minus $240 of this because this will start back up late August, and we're gonna say this is gonna be taken for school. So we're going to go ahead and take $15.17 and minus it from $240, which is now going to bring our cash surplus to $12.77. So now with $12.77, we will go ahead and pay off the Capital One card. So guys, keep in mind, we are still paying the minimum on all of these credit cards. We are just rounding up to cover any interest. So our goal for August will be to pay off the Capital One. Oopsie, oopsie, oopsie. I thought I had my eraser going. So $12.77 minus $806 is going to be $471 in our savings. I don't know why my camera is always about to die. This camera sucks so bad, you guys. I haven't even been recording for an hour yet. You guys, so once that's paid off, starting September, we no longer have to pay that $36 on that minimum here, $15.17 plus 36. Our new cash surplus is going to be $15.53. With $15.53, we would basically go ahead and pay off capital number 1, number 2. Number 2, which has a balance of $1,200. $15.53, which would give us $3.53 in our savings. Alright, you guys, and just like that, we were able to put $3.53 in our savings for this time period. So super good. We're slowly building our savings, which is still nice. Our goal was to save and to pay off debt. So starting November, what we're gonna go ahead and do, our cash surplus is gonna be $15.53. I'm sorry, not $15.53. We paid off the capital 2. So we're gonna add $71. $15.53 plus $71 is going to be $16.24, which is even better. So with $16.24, we're gonna go ahead and pay off the capital number 3. So pay off capital number 3, which has a cash surplus of $1,300. I mean a balance of $1,300. Sorry, you guys. $16.24 minus $1,300 is gonna be $324. So $324. $324 in our savings. Look at that, our savings slowly building up, which is super nice. All right, boom. Now we no longer have to pay off that Capital One card. So starting December, we can go ahead and take $16.24 and then add the $60 minimum. Look at all those minimums getting removed. Our new cash surplus for December is now going to be $16.84. Alright, sweet, you guys. So now starting December, our cash surplus is going to be $16.84. So January and December together is going to give us $16.84 together. Those two, $16.84 times 2 is going to be $33.68. I don't know why I'm writing so big. You guys know I do not like writing big because I do not like using 2 pages. So we're going to go ahead and pay off the credit 1. Which had a balance of $26.34. $33.68 minus $26.34 is going to be $7.34. That's going to go in our savings. And yes, guys, we can pull from our savings to potentially pay off some debt quicker, but we still want to build our savings at the same time. All right, boom. So now we no longer have to pay the minimum on the credit 1. So this $147 minimum is going to go back into our cash surplus starting February. So $16.84 plus $147 is going to be $18.31. So at $18.31 here, we're going to go ahead and work to pay off the Best Buy, which has a balance of $40.86. All right, so at $40.86, why don't we break this down and why don't we put 1,500 of this towards debt, and then put 331 of this in our savings. Us doing that, you guys, we're basically putting 1,500 on top of a $150 minimum, and we're gonna go ahead and take 40.86, and we're gonna divide that by 1,500, which will take us basically a little bit close to 3 months to pay off. So we're gonna go ahead and do February, March, January, February, March, April, and we're gonna put 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500 times 3 is going to be 4,500. With 4,500, we can go ahead and pay off the 40.86. 4,500 minus 40.86 is going to be 414 in our savings. And we're gonna go ahead and put 331 times 3 months, because this was also going in our savings. So 331 times 3 months is going to be 993 in our savings. Boom. Just like that, we've built our savings and paid off our Best Buy credit card, which had a minimum of $150. So we're going to basically use that $150 as our interest barrier. So we're putting basically $1,500 plus $150. That should cover any interest that accumulates. So $1,831 plus $150. Our new cash surplus is going to be $1,981. And the last debt we have left over is our car loan. So I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this sheet, and we're going to talk about how we'll pay off that car loan. All right, you guys. So basically our cash surplus was at $1,831, January, March, April, May. So starting May, our new cash surplus is going to be $1,981, because we have paid off all those other credit cards, and this is our minimum increase in. So now we have our car loan next, which we're currently paying $397 for. So let's say we want to pay off this car loan. I don't know if the car loan, how much interest it has on it. So let's ignore the minimum and act like we're just making a plan to basically pay this off in cash. So we're going to go ahead and say pay off the car loan, which has a balance, which it should be smaller since we have been paying that minimum on here, but let's just prepare for the worst. So $21,840. Why don't we break down our cash surplus and put, we'll say 1,300 of this towards debt or car loan payment, however you want to break it down. And then we'll go ahead and put the other 681 in our savings. So we're going to go ahead and take $21,804 and divide it by 1,300. Will roughly take about 17 months to pay off. So we're just going to go ahead and do 17 months times 1,300. And keep in mind, guys, this isn't including the minimum. So imagine 1,300 plus 397, how much quicker she can pay that off. Or they can pay it off, her and her husband. So that's going to give us $22,100 minus $21,804. Roughly be putting $296 in our savings on top of a $681 in our savings times 17 months. 681 times 17. We'll also be putting $11,577 in our savings. Alright, you guys, and just like that, we paid off our car loan. So we'll officially be debt-free 17 months from then. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So technically October will officially be debt free. That should be 17 months from now, or 17 months from then. And then we're going to take 1981 plus 397. We're going to have 2378 as our cash surplus, and we'll officially be debt free. And just like that, you guys, that is how we set up a budget to set up a plan. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Her and her husband will have a nice savings at the end too. I'm gonna put the full total on the screen of what the savings will be, just because my camera is about to die again. This camera sucks. But thank you guys again for watching. If you would like to get a customized plan made for you, make sure you guys book the private sessions with me at juliacreations.com so we can set up a game plan for you so you can reach your financial goals. And of course, all the products we're using could be found at juliacreations.com, from digital planners to calculators to the physical planners, so you can have all the tools you need to be financially successful as well. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.